Okay, listen. The gas passer isn't Pyro's best secondary item. It's probably, all things considered, the worst. This isn't controversial. The gas passer sits near the bottom of every tier list, if not at the very bottom. That is, if the person making it even remembers it exists. But hear me out. It's not that bad. Obligatory stat block. The gas passer is a secondary item for the pyro, replacing the shotgun. It's a charge-based throwable projectile that starts at 0 charge. It's charged either by doing damage, 750 damage specifically, or by waiting 60 seconds. Any enemy that is hit by the initial burst of gas, as well as all enemies that enter the cloud during its feeble existence, will be coated in gas. Gas-coated enemies will, upon taking any damage at all, receive a full 10 seconds of afterburn. This includes pyros, so yay for that. Other than lasting 10 seconds, afterburn inflicted by the gas passer isn't special. It can be extinguished by picking up a health pack, by a friendly air blast, Durati, Mad Milk, etc. A bonus tip, the horrible shower of gasoline can extinguish burning teammates. For some reason. So the elephant in the room here is the scorch shot. The scorch shot, when hitting a surface, will detonate in a pretty large radius, setting all enemies in the area on fire for a full 10 seconds. And you get 16 of these shots, and you don't need to deal 750 damage before shooting it once. The slightly smaller elephant in the room, like the tapir in the room or something, is the detonator. The detonator is a flare gun that can be, well, detonated on command, which can both ignite enemies and give the pyro blast jumping capabilities. The flare gun, while not being granted any area of effect damage, can still ignite enemies for the full 10 seconds. Hitting burning players with it results in a guaranteed critical hit. That's 90 damage at a range farther than pyro is usually effective at. Hey, yeah, I didn't forget about the man melter. Totally a flare gun too. It can extinguish teammates to gain guaranteed critical hits. It's got infinite ammo, so that's cool. So it seems to basically everyone that the flare gun family can do everything the gas passer can do, and more, for significantly less effort. And that's not wrong. The gas passer asks much more of you than any other secondary weapon, and it doesn't really reward you for that effort. I started exclusively using the gas passer as my secondary weapon for a couple of reasons. On one hand, it's a bit of a meme, using a weapon that everyone thinks is bad. More on that in a future video. On the other, I had an inkling at the back of my mind. Surely there was a reason why Valve added the gas passer. I know Valve has been pretty out of touch with TF2 balance, even when they were in active development, but surely there was a theory, even a misguided one, that drove the creation of the gas passer. I wanted to see what that theory was. Almost immediately, I learned something important about pyro that never occurred to me. The flamethrower is strong. Like, really strong. When I first started playing TF2, the bread and butter of all good pyros was combos. Degreaser into flare gun, the old puff and sting. This combo used to be maddeningly effective when Air Blast pushed targets back on a fixed trajectory. Ignite, Air Blast, flare, 90 damage before your enemy can really react. Then you had the Extinguisher before its damage nerf, dealing full critical damage against burning players. Back then, the Degreaser was king of the primaries. Back then, any kill gotten with the flamethrower was immediately met with complaints of WM1. Things have changed a bit since then. The Flog is crazy powerful, the Degreaser is less dominant but still really strong, and basically all multi-weapon combos have gotten harder to execute. Not necessarily in a bad way either. And we have the Dragon's Fury now too. But the Flamethrower, while plain, is crazy strong. If you take the time to lead your shots so that enemies walk into your flames, the damage you deal is ridiculous. And that's not even mentioning Air Blast. Air Blast is incredibly strong, and funnily enough, the Flamethrower is the best weapon for air blasting. All other flamethrowers have an additional ammo penalty to air blasting, do so at a much slower rate, or straight up can't. Using the gas passer, you have your flamethrower out 95% of the time. Do you have any idea how much of a difference that makes? Turning a corner ready to air blast or flame at a moment's notice allows you to be an effective ambush class. You know, what Pyro was originally designed to be. Flares are great, don't get me wrong, but for all the rage-inducing power of the Scorch Shot, it's not what you want in your hands when you bump into a scout in an alleyway. It's not what you want to be holding when a crits-boosted soldier jumps in front of your team. The first thing the Gas Passer taught me is to rely on my flamethrower, and god, what a reliable weapon it is. The second thing it taught me is how vulnerable using a flare gun makes you. With a flare gun, the battlefield is full of possibility. Is there a sniper off in the distance? Shoot a flare at him. Is there a heavy medic combo just out of range? Shoot a flare. The flare gun family gives you something you can do at medium and long ranges, even if that something rarely results in a kill or meaningful damage. What about with the Gas Passer? Is that a sniper in the distance? Hide, get down, flank him. You can't do anything from here. Heavy medic combo? Run. See if you can't go around and ambush other players, maybe get ready to air blast an Uber away. One downside of the flare gun family that isn't listed on the stats, nor do I see anyone talk about, is the exact same downside that Sniper's Machina has. You tell everyone where you are. What are flares for in real life? They're designed to get attention. When you shoot a Scorch shot at the sniper in the backlines, you're letting everyone on the battlefield know, hey, there's a Pyro here. You're throwing away the element of surprise for chip damage that'll likely only fill the enemy medic's Uber. Flare guns teach you to operate outside of Pyro's effective range. And I will admit, it's useful. Afterburn does shut down a sniper until he's extinguished. Spreading Afterburn does cause players to retreat. And landing a critical flare on a burning target is basically a guaranteed kill on a squishy class. There's a place for flare guns in Pyro's arsenal. Or arsenal. Get it? See, it's wordplay where I've replaced the word arsenal with the word arson, which describes a crime in which... So anyway, the Gas Passer allowed me to see flaws in the flare guns that I had always assumed were just fundamental flaws of Pyro as a class. Having the Gas Passer equipped forced me to be aware of the element of surprise and my positioning as a whole in ways that flare guns never had. Okay, so that's enough about what the Gas Passer doesn't do. What does it do? Well, something. First, I feel like I need to defend the charge rate of the thing. Yes, it's a very slow charge for its effect. But in some game modes, you have a full charge before the fighting begins. Setup time is usually close to a full 60 seconds. You'd be surprised how quickly the meter fills up just by doing damage. And unlike the Flog, the Gas Passer is charged by all damage, not just fire. A reflected rocket, even if you're only indirectly hitting a single target, will deal about 100 damage. That's 8 seconds off of your charge time. 9 if you count the actual time that passed over this interaction. Killing a light class reveals 1/6 of your meter. Math aside, the charge meter is not nearly as bad in practice as it looks on paper. Alright, so we have a full charge. What good is it? Well, not a tremendous amount of good, but it's still something. The gas cloud doesn't linger for very long at all, so it's not enormously effective at area denial. Generally, the Gas Passer is best thrown at a large group of enemies to give your team a slight advantage in the fight. You know how any damage will ignite a player coated in gas? Well, that includes Afterburn damage. You can use the Gas Passer to, in a way, extend the duration of Afterburn on an already burning player. You can throw it on a group of enemies and force them to move, or continue to take burning damage. It's not a lot of damage, all things considered, but it puts a little extra pressure on players trying to push through a choke point or defend an area. And this is pressure you can put out while still using your flamethrower, dealing damage and filling up the next can of gas. Some niche uses of the Gas Passer include extending the range of your supportive abilities. Here seems like a great time to mention how Pyro just flings this thing. Do you see the range on it? Pyro yeets this gas can. If a friendly medic is on fire and you're halfway across the map doing Pyro things, you can extinguish him in an instant without having to cross any sight lines. If you spot a spy somewhere that's just too far for your flamethrower to reach, the Gas Passer is a perfect way to reveal him. I wish I were recording at the time, but once I did this to an enemy spy who just stopped the moment he was covered in gas. It was as if the fact that I actually used the gas passer effectively overloaded his brain, and he had to perform a soft cognitive reset. And, well, that's all I have to say about the gas passer. I don't think it's better than flare guns. I don't think it's better than the shotgun even, but I don't think it's worthless. I wouldn't even say that it's the worst weapon in the game. It encourages a playstyle that I find extremely fun, a weird ambush hybrid support that just makes sense in my strange little brain. Honestly, I'm not asking you to equip it. I'm not here to tell anyone that they should or even could give it a try. It's outclassed by every other option, and there's very little that it does that makes it unique. But I'm going to keep using it. But I'm going to keep using it. But I'm going to keep using it. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, really, truly, and genuinely, thank you so much. This is my first time ever doing anything like this, and while the finished video is rough and there's a lot that I would do differently if I was starting it over completely, I learned a lot, and I'm happy with what I was able to do. I'm certainly looking forward to doing more things in the future, so if you care about what I have to say or were mildly entertained, then I'd ask that you consider subscribing. And to see this video off, I have a little collection of some of the best times in which my brain completely malfunctioned and I totally forgot how to speak over the course of making this video. Have a good one. The glass hit by the inertia. First, I feel the need. Having the gas passer equipped,